Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Kerbal Space Program. So I mentioned, sort of in passing in the last episode, I think near the end, that one of the reasons I had switched to a science mode game was because having contracts was a good way to provide some direction, but that I had some ideas for stuff I wanted to do anyway, and the limitations of career mode were sort of just getting in the way. I didn't really tell you guys what that was. What I'd like to do is build a space station and put it in orbit around the planet. I just think it would be really cool to have a space station that can be used for much of anything. You can use it to get some science. I'm not sure how much. Some. Certainly not as profitable in terms of time spent, science gained per time spent, as say doing another landing mission to Minmus would be. But I think just a lot more interesting. I've sort of gotten down how to land on Minmus, how to land on the moon, how to return from both of those places, even really how to pick a landing site so that I can do more science, and that's great. But I kind of wanted to do something else. I just love the idea of putting together a space station. I've done a lot of rockets, and I haven't done much space stations. It occurs to me, maybe should have built a rocket ahead of time, huh? But, okay, you guys can participate in this. Oh, right. The reason I didn't do that was I wanted to let you guys see all the science we are choosing to unlock here. So the first thing I'm going to want is command modules. Going to want a larger command pod to fit more crew. And I'll also throw on a hitchhiker storage thingy. I forget where it is. I think we have it unlocked already. At any rate, I want this command module. Yes. I believe I want somewhere our ladders. Do I have those already? They're in space exploration, right? Yeah, ladders. I have those. And importantly, I want this. I already have it, so that's fine. But this is a big old mobile science station. Excuse me. Mobile science station that you put in orbit. And it, over the course of a very long time period, squeezes extra science out of experiments you've already done and processed normally. And it's also, well, I guess that doesn't apply in career mode. So it's just a way to get a bit more science out of data you already had. And so as I mentioned, this is not the most efficient way we could get science per time. But I would like to get started on building a space station and then add more features to it. So it's going to be a place to keep some Kerbals. It'll have some science. It'll have some power generators, whatever. And then in the future, I'll make it extensible, right? And in the future, put up a refueling station or something like that. More crew, whatever it is, it turns out that it seems like it would be useful, right? The other thing that would be really cool to do is to build a rover, a moon rover, and have it fly around the place and do science. This is a motorized wheel, right? It uses up electricity, so you would put it on a thing with a solar panel, and it could go around the moon and do stuff. That would be pretty cool. But we're not going to do that yet. Field science. I don't really need any of this junk. Scanning tech. This is all, I think. Some of this would be useful. Maybe I could fly that up as a separate module or something. Stuff to scan Kerbin's surface, and I don't know what I would learn from that, but I guess that's a useful thing you could do. It's precision propulsion I really don't need at all. It would be nice to pick up a mainsail and these fancier engines. And the gigantic fuel tanks. This would all be nice. But none of it seems important for deploying what I want, which is a space station. Is there anything that actually is important for that goal, or should I just unlock whatever random garbage? I don't know. None of this looks that important, really. Oh, you know what? A giant solar panel. That would be great. And like a thermal control system. I don't really know that anything we're going to do generates that much heat, but... Does this generate heat? Does it tell me somehow? I don't see anything here about how much heat it generates. I assume it generates a substantial amount, but I can't really tell. At any rate, having like fancy pants solar panels just like sounds cool. And a big ol' rechargeable battery pack in there as well, why not? And a fuel cell turns fuel into electricity, don't really need that. Okay, and what comes after this? Like bigger battery packs, bigger fuel cells, and then over here a thermoelectric generator. Oh, it just produces electricity for free-ish, but produces heat as a side effect. Okay, so we don't really need any of this, but I do want to pick up the giant solar array thing. That looks pretty cool. That was a big chunk of change. Precision engineering, doesn't one of these have like smaller docking ports or something like that? What direction do I want to be going? Xenon containers are kind of cool, I guess, for electric propulsion, huh? Alright, well, that sounds cool, but I think what I'd like to do then is pick up this, like, science pack. And... I don't know. None of the rest of this looks that interesting, really, from the point of view of what we want to do. So we'll sit on this science and find something else to do with it later. Okay, cool. Go back to the VAB, please. And I want to open the Minmus Lander 1, which is what I was using already. And just sort of like, well, let's save it as Kerbal System Lander 1, because it sort of lands on anything within Kerbin's sphere of influence quite nicely. But now I want to actually take this and sort of tear it apart a bit. We don't want any of this landing crap. There's no music in here. Very strange. We don't really need any of these parachutes. Forget this. In fact, we're going to be throwing away the whole pod as well. Forget the service. Whoa! Don't take all that off, but like... Hey! I need to just take the service bay off somehow? There. Wait. That just took out the Science Junior from inside. That's amazing. Alright, I guess what I have to do is pull this stuff off, then pull these off. Okay. And really, I want, like... What's the base of the rocket that I want to keep? How far down do I want to go? I think basically the engine. This engine here. And the stack decoupler I want to keep. But everything above it, I kind of want to toss in the garbage. So, there you go. Let's grab this fancy pants pod. Where is it? Gimme. Hello? There it is. By the way, I listened to the last episode and I found out that, like, my mouse scrolling sounds really weird with this new mic because it's, like, not where the mic is pointed. So it just sort of picks it up as this weird sort of whooshing noise. Anyway, I guess since I have this I kind of want everything built on a Rockomax scale, huh? So I probably want to take this part out as well. Something more like this. Okay. And what we're putting under this is a mobile processing lab. Try to line up the ladders. There we go. And under that, I want a bit more crew capacity. We have one of these guys. Where is the ladder? I need to line it up. Must have one, right? Is that a ladder? Yeah. Okay, so this is sort of the payload. This is what I want to deploy, and all the rest of the rocket is just for getting that in the right place. And you know what, honestly? This is a much heavier load to lift, but I wonder if, like, just this is enough to do it. Because we had an extra stage above this before for, like, doing orbital maneuvers, but we're not going all the way to the moon. We just want to get into orbit. And we had quite a bit left over after getting into orbit with that lighter stage before. So this might be enough to just do it. Of course, this isn't quite done because we want coupling and put a Rockomax decoupler on here so we can dump this fuel when we're done with it. You know what, honestly? I don't even want to dump the fuel because it would be nice to have a big old empty fuel tank in here that we can dump fuel into once we have some sort of shuttle that'll take extra payload into space. What if some of that payload were just like extra fuel and we could dump it into the ISS and then throw the canister away? That would be nice, right? So after that, the last, like, sort of interesting thing is, well, there's a bit more. Like, what do we put on the top here? And honestly, do we put a parachute on the top in case we ever decide to bring it home? I think we just commit to never bringing this home. Leave it in space. Who cares? But what's fun now is put on some docking ports, right? So put on a couple of small ones near the top. Just a couple, because you really want to space them out quite a bit, so that ships who are docking have room to maneuver. So like one there. Can I put one on the top, or what is the deal? I guess I can't, and I don't totally understand why that is. I feel like I ought to be able to. Maybe this piece, I guess this looks the right size, right? It's just like, oh, there it is. Nice. So put a large dock on the front, a medium or a small dock on the crew cabin, I guess is the word, and put like another large and a small one on the fuel tank, maybe. Seems fine. So this is a small one. Oh, where should we put it in relation to the others? Sort of like 90 degrees apart, right? So put a small one here and a large one here. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but it should be fine. Oh my gosh, I keep clicking outside the window trying to scroll all this stuff. There we go. So now this thing has space to accommodate 4 attachments being added to it. That's cool, right? Now, it's not done. We need more stuff. We need, well, solar panels. We recently bought some gigantic ones, right? So how does this look when it's extended? How much space do I need to make for this? Wow. Awesome. So we need to be a bit careful with these. Where exactly do I put them so that they don't cause trouble? There's sort of some room at the top, but not a ton. And an obvious position, and I'm not sure why I'm so against this idea, is down here on the fuel section, like 90 degrees offset from anything that's... Can I, like... No. I'm trying to, like, not see this fuel, this solid booster while I place this. But, you know, something like this. Oh, and like duplicate it like that, basically, is sort of my idea. Obviously, it can't go like this during takeoff. We always have the solar panels retracted. But that's the idea. Does this provide enough room for ships docking? Yes, I don't think it gets in the way of docking ships. And if we really have to, we can retract the solar panels for that. What else do we need? It would be nice to have some reaction wheels. Let's say here. And some batteries. This is a tiny little thing. How much electric charge does it hold? 200. These hold 100 each. Oh, and these hold 400. So let's just plop a couple of these, like, I don't know, here. Just don't get in the way of the crew hatch, like this maybe. That should be plenty of electricity. And now we need some RCS. That is going to help. We won't be able to maneuver this very much, but being able to maneuver it just a little seems like it could be nice. Maybe I just want to rely on this thing being able to point in the right direction with its reaction wheels and let the other ships who are docking with it use their RCS. I feel like I think that the real ISS uses, like, occasionally, to keep it's still deployed low enough to be experiencing some slight atmospheric drag, and so it uses RCS thrusters to adjust, I think. But, I don't know. It seems like it couldn't hurt to add some on, right? Like, I mean, they're not exactly adding a lot to the mass of this thing. If I want them to help with rotation, it helps to put them here. If I want them to help with translation, it helps to put them near the center of mass. I think the reaction wheel should be enough to turn this thing, so actually I want it near the center of mass to help with rotation. Or translation, I should say. Not the center of thrust, the center of mass is here. Okay. That's a little uncomfortably close to where ships are going to be docking to have these. But I guess they don't really interact with physics anyway, so who cares? Just dump them in right there. Okay, so it'll have to use its reaction wheel for adjusting how it points, but that's fine. That should be possible. It'll use these things, the RCS, for translating if we decide we want to make small orbital adjustments without firing up the main thruster. It's a pretty big thing to leave in orbit. I feel like the fuel tank really ought to fall off and then just have this in orbit, but I like the idea of having a fuel tank in orbit that we can use. That we can, like, just sort of put excess fuel into and use later. So I'm going to leave it this way. Plus it provides us more surface area for docking with. We weren't done, right? What was I doing? Oh, we need RCS fuel tanks now. Maybe put one right before the docking thingy? This is our largest RCS fuel tank, huh? Whoa! Oh, that is. Sure, okay. It seems a little bit larger than necessary, but also it seems like completely unrealistic that we're going to ask visitors to dock and then come in through the fuel tank. Why can't I get this thing on there? Does it not want one? Maybe it doesn't want one. Maybe you can't put a docking port on this. Alright, whatever. Screw you. Now that one will go on. I had it on a minute ago. I could hit undo a few times, I guess, but what if I scroll out? Does that help? There, right? No. Did that do it? Looks like it. Yeah, there's only one of these guys. Cool. That's attached, right? Yes. Okay. That's the docking port. Very good. We'll just put fuel tanks on attached radially. These hold 150. This holds 50. So we'll just put a few of these bad boys on. Oh, wow, they're big. I guess it makes sense. And we'll attach them near the bottom here. That's not quite right. They're in the way of the solar panels now. Maybe just two of them like this? They're not in the way of much of anything here. Oh, that's just one. There we go. Okay, that's that. Did I read correctly that this thing has this thing? Yeah, it has radiators on the back, so that should help. I was thinking like this is a large enough, complicated enough thing that maybe we want something to deal with heat problems, but it looks like probably that's not going to be an issue. Alright, let's do a quick rundown of all the parts, see if there's anything important that I'm missing. I don't think we need a ladder extender. We could put a Science Junior on here, but I think that's like asking for trouble. Put a thermometer on? I don't know. We've already measured the temperature of space, and so we shouldn't get any more science from that, but this mobile processing lab can convert data, which you can get. You get data, it's just useless data. It can convert data into science and doesn't really care where the data came from. So I think like doing anything is useful. But whatever, we'll leave it. And we'll have people dock here and bring science with them, I guess. Don't need that, don't need that. Payload, no, everything's already pretty well shaped. Decouplers, I think we're all set. Structural, well, this thing might need some support to stand on the landing pad, I guess. The launch pad, rather. I think we're okay in terms of this stuff. Engines are looking good. Did I not unlock the mainsail? I kind of wanted to, but I guess we can do that later. Okay, I think this looks fine. Let's set up some action groups now. I want action group 1 to be the solar panels, basically. Yeah, that's the main thing. Although, it occurs to me, something I forgot. Communications. We want an antenna on here. Doesn't really matter much where. Let's just put it on the reaction wheel. There you go. Extend it. It looks like that. Great. That's so we can beam our science back home, I guess. And I want an action group for that as well. Action group 2 is toggle the antenna. Should we put lights on it? I don't think there's really any reason to. This thing already has some lights that are used. The only real reason you would want lights is to make it easier to dock with, and there's already lights on the crew module, so and on this thing as well. So I think that's fine. Toggle flag? What? There's a flag? Show me. Oh, I see. That thing blinks on and off. It's not really a flag so much as just like a decal. Alright. I think that this is about ready. Let's get some crew. And I don't want to send Bob on this. He's sort of our field scientist. He actually goes and visits other planets. But I do want to hire a new scientist and put him on this detail. I looked up, by the way, what these like courage and stupidity markers do, and they have no gameplay impact at all. They just impact what faces your Kerbals make when they are in positions that are like dangerous. That makes me laugh. So we'll take, I don't know, just this first scientist on the list. Had a good resume. And head back here, and we will staff just Burton. There you go. You are in charge of taking this up into orbit and manning the science bay. If it is a successful mission, we will send people up to join you, and if not, like, may God have mercy on your soul, I guess. I think we're ready to give this a try. Ah. I just saved over the Kerbal Lander Mark 1. Very funny. Actually, I think I had already done that. What I really wanted to do was call this the, like, Space Station Core modules. Something like that. And leave the Kerbal Lander Mark 1 alone. Might be a bit of a... Can I, like, get that one back or something? Yeah, I think I can get this back. And it's pretty close. Well, what's in the... Ugh. What's in the Kerbal system? Yeah, it's this ridiculous thing. Alright. Well, whatever. We'll figure it out later. Of course, don't deploy those like that. Okay. So let's save this again. And, on the one hand, it's been about long enough to be an episode. What are you three doing in here? Get out. Avert vehicle assembly. I just wanted like one person in here. It's been long enough that this could be an episode. Everyone off the ship. Just send this guy. This could be an episode. But also, like, getting into orbit is very fast. So this launch is either going to, like, not work, in which case that'll be a very exciting end to the episode. What in the world is this staging? Is that really it? There's so few stages. I guess so. Turn on both the engines. And then take those off, and that's it. You're done. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, if this goes badly, then it'll be a fun way to end the episode, and if it goes well, then, like, we should be well within a reasonable schedule for it, so I think that's fine. Yeah, so, and how high do we want to put this? I don't know, like 150 kilometers seems about right. A bit high, so that there's room for ships to maneuver for getting to us, but not, like, so high that it's hard to get to us. That's the idea, anyway. So, here we go. Let's throttle down to, like, this much. Just want to have enough to stay straight. I'd really like to use as little... Let's try launching with none of that and see what happens. I should have checked, by the way, like how heavy this ship is compared to... You know what? Let's revert to the vehicle assembly again. And I want to do a couple things. One is I want to take this thing. Can't I say, like, to have less ablator or something? Where do I even have ablator is what confuses me. Right? Like nothing that I'm bringing... I don't know. Weird. Okay, it was telling me about, like, ablator somewhere. And I feel like I shouldn't have any, but I guess it just comes on this and you can't do anything about it. Fair enough. A toggle flag. This thing has an optional flag section as well. Where is it? There it is. Cool. Well, I like flags. Anyway, I was going to put a bit less ablator on this or something, because, like, why bother spending the stuff on that? But also, I want to see, like... So this is 149 tons. Now let's open this... Well, actually, save this. Open the... We had a Minmus lander something or other, didn't we? That was our auto-saved. I just wanted to see how heavy the ship we last launched was, but I, like, forgot to save it, so I guess I can't. Alright. Well, that's life, I guess. I'll just have to modify one of the Apollos or something when I want to launch a lander again. Oh well, I was hoping to get an estimate for whether this thing was going to fly at all, but it seems like I'm not going to be able to get that. So we'll just fly it, and that'll be our estimate. Is either yes, it flew, or no, it did not fly. Okay, takeoff in 3, 2, 1, liftoff. That seems fine. How much torque control do we have with this advanced reaction wheel? Can I tip it much? Some, maybe. It's willing to turn over a little bit. Not very much, but I don't need it to turn very much. More than this would be better, but yeah, past about that, it feels like it's about ready to tip over. Yeah, okay, stop turning. Go back. Go back. Alright, too aggressive a gravity turn. You really can't do much of a gravity turn with solid rocket boosters. I shouldn't have pushed it so hard. Alright, well, we'll let this one slam right into the ground then. Just for the sake of excitement, I guess. Let's try to point, like, I don't know. I'll try to land this one a little bit softly in the ocean. It's a bit of a lost cause, I suppose, but could be good practice. Actually, I should be burning much harder. We're not able to kill off speed quickly enough. This is, yeah. I overestimated how quickly I could stop my descent. Alright, well, this has been the first installment of... First installment of probably several episodes in which I fail to get a space station into orbit. Tune in next time and see how it goes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.